talking to Tim and Angela Copley in their home on their earliest memories, both in Ballyfermot and where they grew up. Tim, could I just ask you where you were born into?
I was born in number 8 Thomas Street.
Yeah.
Now it was a tenement house. Upstairs on the top floor you had 2 rooms. Michael Toohey and his wife Mary. And funny enough, Michael lives in Ballyfermot, the young lad.
Michael Jr.
Michael Jr. lives in Ballyfermot. One of the best uilleann pipers you will ever hear.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been seen around playing, you know, but fantastic musician. Myself, on the floor below, we only had 2 rooms. And I had my mother and father, my brother, 2 brothers. Wasn't it 2 brothers?
2 brothers, 3 boys and a
3
girl.
3 boys and 1 girl in 2 rooms. And the toilet was downstairs out the back. And in the shop underneath that was a shop called Dunford's, a lady's hairdressers. And that's where we lived. Then I was always into the ballads. I loved the old ballads. And Angela, funny enough, she liked the ballads, and she was a great worker in sewing and whatever. So the pubs I used to go to, the Castle Lane, and that's where I saw Angela, and she was a beautiful girl. So I said, that girl is from me.
So you knew from day one, soon as you saw her?
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, yeah.
And I chased her and this, that and the other. And eventually I started going out with her. And I ended up coming up to Ballyfermot, and I danced over in the Ritz. I don't know whether you've heard of the Ritz.
I know, yeah.
I danced, the Ritz used to be over on the corner over there. Then I started palling around with guys up here. Then we got married. We ended up joining a thing called the Co-op, which was a nightmare. We lost a lot of money. Angela will tell you about that. And I worked in CIA it was called CIA at the time. Angela's father worked in CIA. Angela's other brother-in-law worked in CIA. And Angela's brother worked in CIA.
Yeah, the whole family.
Oh my God.
So we all worked in CIA. So eventually the Co-op fell through for whatever reasons. We won't go into them now, it's a bit hurtful. And that fell through. And Jim Mitchell, Lord rest him, he helped us out, the ones that didn't get their houses. Some of the people did get their houses, others didn't. We got houses in
We certainly,
Angela, you take over there.
We weren't entitled to a house because at that time the point system you had to have at least 3 children to get a house with the point system, and we only had 1 at the time. So, but wherever way, there was a deal done with Dublin City Council, and we got one. And we
A
thought
lovely 3-bedroom house.
we thought we were in heaven with it, and that garden and all, but like, yeah, it wasn't a good area, and bad stuff happened to me, you know, in the house, and it left him that every day he was going to work, he was nervous because of I was attacked in the house. So when we got a chance to transfer into this house, it was I moved into this house on a Monday evening, and I remember friends of ours were helping us to move, and they were saying, I kept saying, turn on the landing light. They had decided, I had got a glimpse of in here, the front room in the house, and that was enough for me. But they had decided that they put our furniture up in the bedroom and kind of stacked the beds up and all until it was all sorted out. Oh, the smell that was coming out of the house when we were moving in, and I was saying, you know, I got a bottle of domestic from my mum across the road, and I ran up and I was saying, turn on the landing, put a bulb in the landing. Now you can imagine it was so dirty, they wouldn't let me see the house. They said, no, it's whatever, but the bulb didn't go in, and I was trying to. So it was the next morning I saw what we were looking at, and oh God. But look, we got there, we got stuck in, and Tim slept over here every night because you couldn't leave the house without, you know, if we broke, there was no alarms or anything. And that was it, yeah. We had one school going age, Gary, and he went to school down the road, and the first involvement, I suppose, of community.
Just before I get to that, could you give us a brief on your growing up here first, in the early stages?
Oh yeah,
house
just
as well.
to say to you, I was delighted in a way to come back to here, because this area had a real good memory for me, because when I was 10 we moved into Gortine Avenue. That would have been in 1954, and everything seemed to be, all good things seemed to be happening around here. Like there were built, shops was getting built, a bus was starting to come up, and everybody, most of the people that moved in here when we moved in were all happy and delighted with their houses. And the experience I had of moving in here was where, when we lived in Clorville, my dad worked in CIA, he was from County Meath, and all his brother-in-laws were Dubs, and they loved to drink. And my dad, he loved to drink, don't get me wrong, but it didn't come before. When we were young, he couldn't afford to have a drink, so he didn't go with them. So he didn't have any men friends, right? But when we moved up here, there were so many men delighted to come from not having any garden or anything to having a garden and you know, space. So they were all sharing ideas about you know, when to grow their potatoes and doing the things with the garden. And you might remember a lot of people planted in their front garden, they planted potatoes first. There was something to do with the soil, but that was my first experience of what you would call community living. Because around here, if a woman was having a baby, the little card, I used to call it the auction card, the coom car, and if that came, like all you'd see would be women running with whoever had the best bedspread brought it over, and the pots of stew, and someone took their kids and all. It was really good community spirit without ever no more community spirit. And coming from where I lived in Floraville, it was kind of in a big house. I walked home from school with my friends who lived on Sarsfield Road and Lally Road and all, and they would say, God, I'd love to have a hall door like this, that you could knock on their hall door and they could come out and open the hall door and say, how are you? Where we would not be allowed to open our hall door in Floraville faced out to the front of the house, which would be down, and there was a very long lawn if you were ever up there. So that was very, very dark, and the back door faced out onto the road, which was equally as dark. So it was, to me, it was always a house that you didn't know whether there was a boogeyman in it or not, because it was so big. You know, and it was. I know some of my cousins would say, now what's she talking about? And it was this, that and the other, because they have all the ideas in their head. But like, to us that lived there, I think that would have been the experience for most of us, to have a hall door that you could open and you see your friends there, or come home and knock on the hall door. Do you know, it was
what amazed me about that is where we would see the big house, we would think it was very posh, and you had that idea. You know, it's just amazing
I know,
how the two.
some of the kids I went to school with used to give me a Nancy ball. You got 6 Nancy balls, I think, for a halfpenny at the time. And some of them used to give me a Nancy ball to let them inside the gate and see in the air raid shelter and all. Do you know, they all thought it was great to live up there. Dermot Martin, I remember the Archbishop saying it to me, you know, when he'd be playing down there in the trees and all, and I suppose that was great for them, but then they went home to the security of being in a smaller unit, or I know what, but like it was a closed door, and it was safer. You know, to me.
And what school did you go to then?
Golden Bridge.
Oh, you went to Golden Bridge,
To my.
Yeah. And then you got involved here in the community.
I went to Golden Bridge, and I done my primary research. I got polio when I was 10. So, in them days, I did always want to go on in school, but if there was a boy, the boy got the chance to go on, you know. So, I done my primary just the year that I had polio, and I passed my primary, and that was one thing I do remember the nun in school saying to my mummy, you should let her go on, because if she's after getting to primary, and I hadn't been in school much and all that, but it didn't happen anyway. I got a job down on Merchants Quay, Bremware. It was a sewing factory, and I was put in the cutting room, and then they decided. I loved sketching and drawing dresses and all, and I'd be doing them and giving them to the boss, and you know, do it this way and that way. So, my dad decided that I'd go to Parnell Square Tech at night. So I just say this to the kids now when they're talking about they need to live to school or whatever. Like, not only me, all of us around that went to work at 14, we got up on our bike, we went into work, cycled into work, you cycled home at dinner time for your dinner because you got an hour, you cycled back in, you got off work at 6 o'clock. Now I was allowed off work at 6:15, and most factories said the rosary before you left any of the Catholic ones. I was allowed to go on the the nights I was going to tech, which was 3 nights, I was allowed to go at 6:15. So I could cycle home, get my tea, and cycle to Barnhill Square Tech. Would you believe that?
Yeah, God,
And I'm 14 years of age now, and yeah, that's where, in Barnhill Square Tech then when they saw some quality, because they recommended that I should go to the Grafton Academy, and yeah, I started going there. Yeah, that's. I ended up then working in Allied Textiles in Javellicet.
Oh, yeah.
And I went in there as a cutter and pattern maker, and then I went into the underwear design section, and that's where I finished up. So yeah, loads of different bits in my career, but I like all the journey leading up to that. When I think about it now, I suppose the biggest one in the history was to see the change for me in like the way we all lived to how we live now, and yet at that time we thought we were absolutely great. You know, when the first washing machine came into our God, we thought we were in, or the first television.
Was that the one with the ringer?
Yeah,
the ringer. Yeah.
And my mum, Dr. Mearson, she thought that ringer was great, so she decided, we both, myself and my sister, had very long hair, but my sister's was really thick. So my mum decided one day she'd get the wet out of her hair after we had our bath by putting it through the ringer. Oh Jesus, you wanted to see it now. And my poor sister was kind of down with her head down. She couldn't pull it or pull her hair out of her head, and my mum trying to get the strands of hair.
God,
and the neighbours all came in, and everybody was trying to get her hair.
Oh Lord, on me through the ringer.
But yeah, that was the washing machines, and the pot man that used to come around. But see, when we were in Floraville, like, we missed an awful lot of that. You know, what people did, the everyday living. But then in another way, we kind of saw an awful lot of stuff that I suppose, like we used to see, there was a policeman, I'm allowed to say this. There was a policeman who, I think he would have been one of the reasons that he played a part in me forming my character, because you know, you were even at that age you were told you look up to the law and you this, that and the other, and they're like, you know, they're above everybody else. And we used to look at this policeman going in. My grandfather had a car and he covered it when he wouldn't be out driving it in a tarpaulin cover, right? But we were allowed to sit in it if it was raining or anything. But he had, when we sat in the car, it would be like I was sitting here and you look over, we could see down. You know where Liffey Gale's building is? Well, that was plots.
That's right,
right. My dad had a plot in it. My dad had a plot in there, even though the vegetable garden in Floraville was the size of all the plots. You know? But anyway, that was like a social gathering for a lot of men too, right? But this man, Garda Tracy, he lived down opposite the model school, and like we had heard, you know the way the kids overheard the stories, and everyone could say, that was so-and-so, he got somebody in the air raid shelter, and wherever he done to them and all, but he used to stash his stuff, and he took off people in there.
Yeah, go away, yeah.
And like sometimes I wouldn't even know the whole story now. I'm only picking up on what you're eavesdropping on the adults. but when we'd be sitting in the car looking over at him, and say you went down what to buy, people used to buy their cabbage and rhubarb, scallions and lettuce in the summer of the men at the plots. So if there was no other men there, like if you were there doing your plot and you had no cabbage left, and so you'd go to my dad's plot and you'd sell his cabbage, but you'd say to him then when he came, now Jerry, I sold some of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that was that.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He kept the money for himself.
My God, yeah.
And it used to infuriate me. I used to say to, like, in my mind, he was on the next level of society. You know, a policeman, he shouldn't be doing that. When you're a kid, and then on one day it was raining and it was doing it, we'd be in the car. And see, we used to shout out the car window when you'd be going by, "Scallion head," because it was completely bald. And it drove him mad. But he never could figure out where it was coming from. But this day, Patsy Larkin was his name, and Martin remembered him well. They lived in just opposite Ruby Finnegan's pub, and Patsy, and he had a big mop of red hair, and he had his head out the window with the car shouting down at him, and he looked up and caught him. And he ran up. Of course, when he came in to come in the gate, and nobody knew there was a little side gate that he would open. And when he came up, we ran up around to the side of the house and my grandfather had a greenhouse, and we ran into the greenhouse and we ran in. I will never, to this day, I'll never forget, he had Patsy Larkin up against the wall, and he had a pitchfork at his neck. We were screaming, and my uncles came out to find out what was going on. And But even though we said, like, what he'd done, you know, we were all told, you're not to be in here anymore, and you know, it was it was a real and then all the other characters that lived over in the ranch.
Yeah. How did you get on with the ranchers?
Great.
Yeah, no problem at all. Of course, you would have been one of the originals as well.
Well, no, because my grandfather only moved he bought Floraville in when was it, 1940, 46, I think.
46, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's when he bought.
2 years before.
47 it would have been, I'll tell you. Yeah, because I was born in 44, and I can very clearly remember the house that they lived in before there. They lived over in Old Capel Road, and it was a lovely house. It was big, but it was all other houses, wasn't it? It was on its own, you know.
Yeah. So you would have been in there a year before the houses here were built in Saturday Road.
I remember. We didn't move in there then. I was 4, so we moved into Floraville in 1948, and the front of Sarsfield Road was built at that stage, and they were started to move people into on the right hand side going up of Lally Road.
Ah, I see. Yeah. That's where they were building, yeah.
So, and the houses up around, when you went to go up Landon Road, you know where you went in around where the Kennedys lived?
Yeah. Oh,
you know
I know.
Yeah, where they lived, them houses, they were being built, I think, at that stage.
Yeah. Good.
But,
and then when you came up here, you got involved then, didn't you? You got involved in
when I moved, how I got involved really, when I moved in here, and the kids were in school, and it was the time that everything was being cut, like the teachers, they hadn't got money in Mary Queen of Angels to heat the school. That was it, wasn't in being penny pension or anything. They actually did not have the money to heat the school. And Jim Mitchell was Minister for Education, and Jim was trying to get some didn't know where there would be parental involvement, and so they set up. It started off by setting up parents' associations in the schools, and Johnny Bourne was the principal down there in one school, and Dan Kennelly was in the other school, and I knew both of them from my brother played football years ago. And Johnny Bourne said to me, would you be interested in coming on to the school committee? And I said, yeah, because see, I had been up in Clondalk, and I'd been and before that, but when we got married at first, we lived down off Thomas Street in a flat. So I had kind of lost. Street. Yeah, so I kind of lost touch with a lot of people. So I thought, I get involved with the Parents Association, and it's a good way of getting to know all the parents. Of course, and all that. And so we formed a little committee group. A few other people came on board and we formed a group, and but it was like, as they did back in them days, somebody, a TD, had come up with an idea, form a committee for something, but there was no such thing as support, or you didn't have, it was a blank canvas you got to work with, and so, and we were kind of sitting and saying, what are we supposed to be doing here? And I thought, well, the first thing that we need to do is have the place a bit warm so we can sit here and put on our thinking caps, and our kids can learn not to shiver in school. So we put it to the teachers that we were going to run a function, cabaret show, for the fundraise, and they said, great, and put the word around, and we had a night up in Gold Cut, and it filled Gold Cut. And we got, it was unbelievable, the amount of parents that came with stuff for raffles, and my uncle is a singer or somebody, and he said he'll do a tour, like good people. It was absolutely brilliant now. I remember the first one that we done made £800 at the time, which was a lot of money. And we were able to hand it over to the school for the thing. And then the teachers were saying, they all came to the function, and they were saying, not only it's after, that was after putting the heat in the school, but it gave, it moulded a new thing between the teachers and the parents. Because the parents that they saw every day leaving their kids in school were not the parents that they needed to see. And the parents that they needed to see didn't come, but when they thought it was the right out, they came. And it worked very well, because when they got a few drinks, they got a little bit loose in their tongue, and they talked, and they realised that the people that were teaching their children were human beings. They weren't like the people who had taught them years ago. And all the teachers wanted to know, how can we do it better? Genuinely, down in that school, that was what I felt. And it started from there, really, kind of, that grew, and then the priest from the church came over and said when they wanted to start to get the money for that new centre, and they were, looking for ideas to raise money, and we were already doing a booster draw for the school, so we said, like Tim would say to me when he'd see the priest going, he's looking for you to do something else, tell him no, you're not doing it, and I'd always say, yeah, I will, and then I was someone who couldn't say no to anybody, and I'd end up doing it, and raised a good bit of money for that, and it just kind of took off, from there. When Vincent Jackson got involved with the youth club and the complex opened, I kind of was in and out of the youth club, Vincent, and doing things. And it was around that time then that funding was coming on board for community development. So we got together, seven of us, and got the funding application. It was Vincent Jackson, Jerry McCarthy, Dave Conley, oh God, I can't think of girls' name from Boss, myself,
And Mary Farrell involved in that? Mary Farrell, was she?
Dave Conley.
No, Dave, yeah, that's right, yeah,
Mary's
that's right,
husband,
yeah.
Mary was involved in the on the radio, have been involved in the community radio. But yeah, that money came in, the pre-partnership money, and we got an office up over to EBS, and you know, and start building on plans for Ballyfermot. And through that there was money for people who wanted to train. And so I went back to Maynooth College and done community development.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's how I ended up working in the resource centre.
Yeah, that's where I came across you first then.
Because like I was happy enough here. I have a little business actually here, making roller blinds in the shed down the end of the garden, and it wasn't a Tim, a thriving business. I'd make the blinds and Tim would fit them when he'd come home from work at night, and it brought us in a nice.
I know, yeah,
yeah. And Noel Keane rang me one day. I knew Noel because when I became involved in the leisure complex, when I went on the committee down there, we had the sheriff coming in to do the thing, and I remember myself and John Phelan, I was the secretary, he was the chairperson, and we sat down and we done, like, you wouldn't get away with it now, but we done an A4 sheet out of income and expenditure and how we planned to pay off there was money owed to revenue. And then we went in and met the auditor, and he brought us in Back Street, and he was bringing us across into the place, and he was saying, Martin Scott, and I said, I don't think that'll go very far, and I said, well, we'll wait and see what he says. And Mr. Hunt was the man's name, and then we wasn't that we write post-dated checks, and that money, we were setting up a separate bank account, that the money on a Sunday night that came in from down there would go straight into that, and that would cover that, and then the current liability would come out of the other income. And then I left us waiting, told us to go and have a bit of lunch, and left us waiting. We were about an hour and a half, and he came back and said, yeah, we'll accept it. They were closing the place. Back. And so and then there was a few things with insurance, and I talked to Noel Keane and Gross Insurance, because they were paying sky high insurance down there, and I went down and said to Noel, can you do anything for us, like it's a community thing, and him being from Ballyfermot, and he said of course, and he came up and had a look, and got a guy out to advise us, and he redone our policy for us and saved us $1,500, which was a huge amount of money at the time. And I would be in touch with him from time to time. If I ever wanted to know anything about insurance, belong to down there, get in touch, ask him about it. And then when the resource centre was, when Sister Margaret was going that time, and she wanted it apparently to close, I wasn't aware of any of that. Noel just rang me one day and said to me, the resource centre, and we're looking for somebody to run it. You wouldn't know anybody that might, apply for the job that might be suitable. Apparently a good few people have applied for it. And I said, God, leave it with me and I'll think about it. I always remember we were sitting out there in the garden having a cup of tea. I had been working in the shed, lovely sunny day. And when I put the phone down, I said to James, I think I'd like that job. And Jim said to me, are you mad? Do the blinds and the thing. And I said, no, I did. And because it was like a challenge,
Yeah, of course it was, yeah.
It was a very big building, had the potential for it to do a whole lot, but it wasn't getting the funding to do
I know what you mean,
anything.
Yeah.
And I had got a taste of the injustice of communities not getting funding, kind of down in the complex.
Yeah.
And I really, when I see a run like that, that's where I kind of go into full form.
Yeah.
So I rang Noel back and said to him, come here, I think I'd like that job. And he said, oh, great. So anyway, I have to go down and meet the board and have a kind of an interview and then do a formal interview. And I got the job and went in there and I loved the job now, I really did. And in the beginning when I went in, I had such a supportive board.
Yeah,
Fabulous local business people and local clergy, Joe Cat, he was fabulous. And two of the Dominican sisters were fantastic.
So to finish off now on a more sombre note, I suppose, I know you've been here from day one, in the house down below and right through, you saw the house being built. What do you think is the best thing that you have seen happen to Ballyfermot in all your years here?
The best thing that happened to Ballyfermot is, I think, pre-partnership coming into Ballyfermot, enabling local people to have a voice in building their community and enabling them to have a voice by the training that was made available to local people, and also the money that came on stream to carry out, to make the dream a reality. And to me that's ongoing, because when I was young, growing up in Ballyfermot, there was no such thing as youth clubs or after school clubs or heritage groups, photography groups, the different sports groups, everything that's there that, to me, that garnishes a community together I think is there now, and all Ballyfermot have to do now is continue to ice their cake.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I feel.
And thanks for that. And on behalf of myself, Sean, all the Ballyfermot Heritage Group, I want to thank you for taking this few hours out to talk to us today.
I enjoyed it, Ken.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that.